Evening, ladies and gentlemen, 6 p.m. No, Tuesday, November 12th, Town of Grand Rapids Municipal Building. First item on our agenda this evening is going to be a public hearing. The Grand Rapids Town Board will conduct a public hearing on the following application. Gary Wiskirchen, doing business as Gary's Towing, a conditional use permit application to allow storage of vehicles in a commercial district located at 2510 40th Street North. And for anybody's reference, that's near County Concrete, correct, Gary? Yep. And further information, I guess we got it in that piece there. Process this evening for the public hearing. I'll ask if anybody's against the conditional use permit to store vehicles in a commercial district, and then ask for those in favor, and we'll ask it 3 times. So at this time, anybody wishing to speak against Gary's Towing, a conditional use application for the storage of vehicles in the commercial district at 2510 40th Street South, please speak. Anybody in the audience wish to speak against? Third and final time, anybody in the audience wish to speak against? Hearing none, move to those that are in favor. Anybody wish to speak in favor of it? Second time, anybody wish to speak in favor of the conditional use application for storage of vehicles, commercial district located at 2510 40th Street North? Third and final time, anybody wish to speak in favor of? Hearing none, we'll call the public hearing closed and move to the regular Town Board of agenda. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, if you care to join. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2, approve the agenda for the meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the October 8th, actually, tonight's meeting minutes, and October 8th.
All right, we'll move to, he's approving the minutes, which is item 3 for October 8th. Is there a second to that?
Second motion.
I got Bill seconded. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Item 4 is our public comment period. People wishing to address the board are limited to 2 minutes each, with a public comment period not to exceed 30 minutes. Anybody in the audience wish to speak this evening? If you do, we need your name for the record, please.
Jeff Buser, B-U-S-E-R.
Jan, your comments?
There's a street light that was put up on the corner of 40th Street and Out that I would like to have petition to have removed. I have a signed petition of 13 names. Most of the people in the affected area signed this and agree with wanting to have that light removed. And I mean, according to ordinance 41, I'm a little surprised it was put up in the first place, because it seems like it needs a majority petition of the area to be put up.
Okay, and any other comments? Mr. Bauer? Bill Bauer?
Bill Bauer. Also here for the petition for to have the light removed. With the light being there, it's affecting everybody on the corner. It's affecting everybody. It shines in every bedroom window, including a couple houses down 40th. Lights up the night sky. I moved here 8-9 years ago. Lived in Grand Rapids, or in Rapids my whole life. Moved out here to get away from streetlights. Now I go out in my yard, even in the backyard, go out there, nice orange glow. That's all I get. Go sit in the, summer sitting in the yard, even just walking back out there, now during the winter, right over the top of my neighbor's house. It's distracting, the light pollution, everything about it. And like I say, we have 13 or 14 names here of Health Drive and on 40th. Also, the fact that, the way I understand it, the person that petitioned this to have done is not even a resident out there.
Where do we give this to you?
Sir, we turn it into the clerk, sir. Okay, anybody else wishing to speak this
Well,
evening?
they, well, I don't know, 0.2 minutes is up.
Well, you're close, but go ahead. Steve.
Okay, you know, it's just, I even talked to the gal whose father did this, and she could care less if the light's there, and supposedly did it for his grandchildren, one of which gets on the bus at the end of the driveway, which is 15 yards from the end, from her garage lights, and the other one is, she's on the corner, and the other one is 30 yards down the road from there, and no longer rides the bus, according to her mother.
Okay, your comments are received. We have your petition. We'll move on to anybody else wish to speak?
Yeah, I was wondering if you knew how far the assessor has gotten so far this year and if they're done going around?
I know they're not done. He was just in here today, so they're still ongoing. I have no idea what
Do
the
they have like,
percentage
like
done.
40% done, 50%, you don't know?
Nope, that I don't know. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't know either.
They're in, I mean, they're here every single week. They're out and about all week. I see them multiple times throughout the week, so they're working on it.
Anybody else wish to speak? Comments? Hearing no comments, then we'll move on to our next item, which is item number 5, the the monthly reports from departments. First item is Fire Chief Bob Hyatt.
Evening, board, citizens.
Evening.
We're currently staffed with 47 fire and EMS members, 4 non-structural firefighters, 6 EMS-only members, but a total of 20 trained to do EMS. We're always looking for motivated individuals for fire and EMS. If anybody's interested in fire or EMS, they can always stop by the fire station and see me. Calls for service this last month. We had 39 calls for service, 28 EMS, and 11 fire, which the fire breakdown was 7 calls in Grand Rapids, 1 in Saratoga, 3 in Grant. Same time last year, we had 31 EMS calls and 10 fire calls for service on the fire side, same time last year. Broke down, those calls consisted of 2 gas leaks, a vehicle fire, 2 vehicle accidents, 1 false alarm, 2 lift assists, and 3 fires, 2 residential, 1 commercial. Training this last month, EMS was the refresher at United Ambulance through MSTC down the street. Fire training in the morning, we did went to our county concrete site and did fill site operations. In the evening, we cut apart cars over at the town garage. We hold 1 department meeting, 1 department officer meeting, 2 training meetings, and an EMS training. Public relations, last month we reached approximately 500 children through our fire prevention program at the schools and the daycares in the area. And we also had a team of 5 that worked as a medical crew at the WIAA State Cross Country Meet on November 2nd. So our smoke detector and sign programming is ongoing, and since the last report there have been no injuries in the town.
Is there any questions?
Yes, I have
Comments?
Oh,
Patty?
Yeah, Bob, what were the causes of the fires with residential and the commercial? Was it wood stoves or, do you recall?
the one was, sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. Sorry, I've been up since 2 a.m. because we had a fire last night.
Okay,
The
I just thought you had.
commercial one was the MSTC. It was a fire in the dust arrestor in the welding shop, caught on fire. And then we had, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, I just did this yesterday.
Can't remember them either.
Yeah,
Well, you can update them.
yeah, I'll
Send you an email.
All right, thanks.
okay.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you very much, Chief.
All right.
Bring up Police Chief Mel Peterson for his monthly report. Looks pretty long this time.
Yeah, a lot
Been
going
busy.
on. A lot going on. Good evening, everyone. Okay, for the month of October, the Grand Rapids Police Department handled 396 calls for service. That compared to 441 calls for service in October of last year, about a 10.2% decrease in calls. And once again, the town board members should have a breakdown of those calls. The police department issued 49 traffic citations, 7 municipal ordinance citations, and 46 written warnings during the month of October. On October 1st, I attended the community presentation titled Marijuana Use in Teens, Why It's Such a Big Deal, and that was held at the Macmillan Memorial Library in Wisconsin Rapids. The presentation was sponsored by the Wood County Drug Task Force and focused on the effects of marijuana on our youth. On October 2nd, I participated in Coffee with a Cop event at the Chatterbox Restaurant here in Kellner. The Wood County Sheriff Becker, Portage County Sheriff Lucas, and I were able to sit down with residents from our respective jurisdictions over a cup of coffee and talk about matters affecting our respective communities. October 3rd, the Grand Rapids Police Department participated in Run with the Cops 5K event at the Centralia Center in Wisconsin Rapids. Proceeds from this event help support Special Olympic athletes from our local community. October 11th, I attended the 2019 legislative breakfast at the Bullseye Country Club. It was a great opportunity to hear from our state legislators, local community officials, and other government officials regarding topics affecting our local community. October 16th, Administrative Assistant Jewel Neneman and I attended the 14th Annual Badger Tracks User Conference at the Holiday Inn and Convention Center in Stevens Point. The conference provided important information on tracks updates, creating ad hoc reports and helpful hints for the officer. For those of you that don't know, TRACS is the program that pretty much the whole state of Wisconsin uses for issuing of citations, warnings, ordinance citations, and those types of forms. On October 22nd, I was invited to participate in a Career Discovery Day at Lincoln High School. I and other representatives from the local law enforcement community were able to sit down with students in a small group setting and discuss career opportunities in law enforcement. Students that attended our sessions all had expressed an interest in pursuing careers in law enforcement, so it was nice to see. These were all juniors at Lincoln High School, and so it was nice to sit down and chat with them and bounce some ideas off of them, and as well as receiving information from us on career opportunities in law enforcement. On October 26th, the Grand Rapids Police Department, the Wisconsin Rapids Police Department, and the Wood County Sheriff's Office and the Wood County Health Department hosted a prescription drug take-back event at the Pick and Save here in Wisconsin Rapids. Between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., 4 hours, we were able to collect 93 pounds of unwanted, expired, or unused pharmaceuticals at the Pick and Save. In addition, the town of Grand Rapids collected approximately 71 pounds of unwanted, expired, and unused pharmaceuticals at our drop box here at the front counter in the office. That's been collected since our last take-back event, which was in April. These unused medications were then properly boxed and transported to Wausau for disposal. I'd like to give a thank you to the Wisconsin Rapids Police Department for their services in transporting those unused and unwanted pharmaceuticals up to Wausau, where they're turned over to DA and then eventually transported to be disposed of, and they don't end up in our water supply system. On October 30th, officers of the Grand Rapids Police Department completed patrol rifle qualification and tactical review with the AR rifle at the Wisconsin Rapids Police Range. And finally, at the Grand Rapids Police Auxiliary assisted with the WIA State Cross Country Meet held at the Ridges Golf Course on Saturday, November 2nd. They assisted with traffic control at the main entrance to the Ridges Golf Course for this event. And then, of course, they also assisted with extra patrol duties on Halloween, patrolling our subdivisions and areas that with a high concentration of trick-or-treaters. Vehicles in department are doing well outside of normal maintenance and minor repairs. And once again, feel free to stop by my office anytime if you have any questions, concerns, or suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Anybody else have any comments, or is there any comments this evening? Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I want to thank you for being there at that October 1st meeting. I think there was 36 people there. And I really wish decision makers, people who are elected to office, more of those would attend. Just to hear that person's story from Colorado, I believe she was from. And what's something, you know, and the problems we have right here that's discussed there. I just wish more elected officials were attend that, especially, you know, people, decision makers.
Yeah, the Wood County Drug Task Force is really doing a great job in bringing in some real informative speakers and people that really know the subject matter and are in a position to really speak, you know, of, in a lot of cases, the devastating effects that not only opioids but marijuana can have on our youth. So it's very, very good presentations that they bring in, and that's why I always like to forward those out to the town board here so they can attend. So,
Any other comments?
Just really quick, you
Go ahead,
guys,
Andy.
you guys had a really busy month, and a lot of community policing initiatives here with a lot of involvement within the community all around, and I just want to just commend you for doing that and being involved as you are, and it's I'm proud of our department to be able to be involved in everything we're doing, and this is a lot in 1 month for you guys to take on. And
yeah.
Small agency that we are, you're doing a great job.
Once I started putting it on paper, I'm going, wow, I've got a lot of things going on this month. So, but yeah, that's enjoyable, especially working with the young kids, you know, at McMillan Library, that presentation, and then working with the kids over at Lincoln High School. It's very rewarding.
Was there a little bit of a growing interest in law enforcement among some of the youth that were there? I know we're in general seeing kind of a decline.
There was. I've attended the last 2 or 3. I think I was invited over there, and this year we had 2 groups again, and there seemed to be more people or more students in each group. So the classroom was full. So
when they get a little older, they can get on our auxiliary.
Exactly. So yeah, well, actually, we had one come in today, put in their application from that
Great.
from that presentation. So
Sounds good. Anything else? If not, thank you again very much. Move to Amy Cook with the treasurer's report. She's ready to collect cash pretty soon, huh?
Yep, fastly approaching. Good evening. For the month of October, current month receipts were $125,977. Current month disbursements were $326,215. Cash on hand at the end of the month was $836,573, with $105,508 in checking and $449,857 in the repo account, and $321,611 in the money market. Any questions?
Hearing none? Thank you very much. Item 6 is considering a possible action on a resolution 2019-18, a conditional use permit application to allow storage of vehicles in a commercial district located at 2510 40th Street North, parcel 070071G.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2019-18.
Motion by Bill,
Second.
by Andrew. Any discussion? I understand, Patty, this one in front of the Plan Commission, and there's to be all inside storage, that's correct?
Right, that's what we approved. If he would end up wanting to have outside storage, then he'd have to come back and do a fence and things like that. But
All right.
he didn't feel that there was a need at this point in time for that.
Good. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed, motion carries. Item 7, additional and possible action on combination Class B liquor license application for Savory Steakhouse, 4380 80th Street South, John Ross, agent. You have that information in front of you. Looks like everything from the police department was okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Dan,
Second.
by William. Any other discussion? It's good to see this restaurant reopening. Any discussion? There none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. Item D, consider possible action on Mike Edwards' request for a town to vacate a section of dedicated roadway parcel 0701022D. You have that information in front of you, and this was something that's gone through our attorney's eyes, and there's two different ways that these requests can be processed, and he's asking for it to be removed, and you have that information in front of you.
When I was looking at this, in talking to the attorney yesterday when he was at the Plan Commission, first of all, for us to be able to consider the town board considering it to be for the town to actually consider it to be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Removed.
Removed, thank you. We would have to, this evening, have a resolution
Yeah.
of that sort to be able to do that.
Which we do
Which
not.
we do not,
No.
right.
The idea behind this is to determine which way the board, if the board wants to proceed, which way you want to proceed, whether you want him to force him to do the petition, or if you want to do it through resolution of the town, because there's two different ways to do it, and there's two different ways for the cost. The resolution, if we do it, then the town board covers all the costs. If it's done through the adjacent property owners in that, then the cost of the process falls on to the applicant. So
Right.
that's why it's on, and there's no motion here. Motion is to consider which way the board, if the board wants to pursue removing it. William?
Go
Do we
ahead.
need a motion before?
I was gonna say,
Before we do
but he
discussion?
wanted to do a discussion, I guess. But I just wanted to point that out so that someone here wouldn't go ahead and make a motion, you know, as far as that. I just wanted to point that out, that the attorney had indicated that. So, because this says consideration and possible action, so.
That wording is just a little vague.
Yes.
It's just which way the board is interested in
Right.
pursuing.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I told the rest of the group here so that the motion that will be coming wasn't incorrectly worded.
William?
I've been involved in this before, and I'd much rather see a hearing, I'd much rather see a petition, so other landowners around that area would know that a road that is dedicated to the town of Grand Rapids is being cut off. Kind of like putting up a street light. I like people to know that this is happening. And I'm voting no on any recommendation here. I think we should hear from the applicant. I think we should hear from the neighbors and see what they think about closing a road. And that does cut our mileage down, correct? In what we report to the state?
No, that's not a built road. It's not a,
Okay. That's the way I'd like to see it.
at this time, it's not built. It's only half of a road.
So I guess if we're looking for a decision of which way to go, I guess I will recommend the town actually having Mike Edwards
Item
get
one.
the petition to the town and require him to get all the signatures from the property owners adjacent to the property, and also 2/3 of property owners within 2,350 feet of the dedicated roadway.
Motion by Patty, is there a second to that?
I'll second that motion.
Second by William. Any discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? That's all I did on it, Patty.
Okay, thank you.
I don't even know if they want to get rid of it, but that's beside the point.
Exactly. Time will-
Item 9, update from Treasurer Cook on FEMA grant process for storm damage reimbursement. How are we doing with that, Amy?
I have met with Mike Plow from FEMA about the storm damage from July 20th. We met on October 21st, gathering information to find that we have approximately $9,000 in debris and $6,500 in Category B, which is emergency protective measures. And the town will receive 75% of those funds. And it has been now submitted to the Wisconsin Emergency Management in Madison. So that's where we're at with that.
Any questions? Go ahead.
I'm sorry if I missed it, but is part of the money that you had spoken about, what part is the cleanup in?
That's a Category B, which
Oh,
is
that
that
goes in the Category B.
emergency, yeah, that's the $6,500.
Okay.
Is that mainly it's labor from the road crew then, I
Right.
assume?
And fire department when they were out in protection mode.
And the brush
The
pile?
brush pile is in there,
Okay.
the fee that we paid
Yep.
is in there.
Okay.
And quite frankly, he was simply amazed. He said, I've never seen that big of a pile be done so efficiently. He required a couple of letters, one that the DNR, that they indicated that we could chip it. And then he also required us to have a letter from Dorhorse saying that it was recycled up to the, wherever he takes it. And I believe we got those and everything's been forward, so we should receive our funds.
We should receive 75%.
75%, right?
Estimate, yes, as
So-
those numbers, yes.
So I suppose that aerial view helped.
Everything we did.
Yeah.
He liked all the pictures.
Yep, good.
Thank you.
Is this,
Go ahead, any other questions?
so is this part of your grant training that you went through?
Yes, it was definitely good training. To work
Seeing
with
it paying
Mike.
off
He
is
was
good.
Yeah.
super nice guy, and yeah, it was a very good experience.
Good job.
That's the first time that I had the opportunity to meet with FEMA guy. I was like, gave me surprised how genuine he was and caring.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Any other questions on it? Otherwise, we'll move to the next item, which is consider possible action on a resolution 2019-24 to support adding a walking path within the DOT multimodal supplemental grant for Washington Street. The reason why I put this on here is we found that when we filed the previous grant application for another part of Washington, there has to be a resolution that there would be a walking path or attempt to have a walking path there for that to be allowed. We did not have it. And at this time, that grant went in without one because it was simply too late for the board to meet on it again. But that project, if we do get it, will be 3 to 5 years down the road, and we can maybe address that with another source of revenue. So specifically in this application for the supplemental grant does not indicate that we need a resolution, but I thought to be safe, and as long as we had the board time to do it, we're going to be writing the rest of this grant in the next week or so, that we should have a resolution that we're supporting it so that we at least are on record and they understand that we are looking to put the walkway on it.
So this is part of the 90-10 one?
This is part of the funding that would be 90% state and 10%.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2019-24 resolution.
Motion Dan, seconded by Arnie. Any discussion?
So with this walking path, this is not the 4-foot edges of the road. This would be more like the walking path that we have going down Kellner Road.
That's what we're going to try to get
Okay.
engineered.
Right.
Whether,
Yeah.
whether we can or not.
Right,
And we've not expended any engineering money, so we're guessing
that
we
it can be done, right.
But, so that's, to have the resolution says that we'll try it. Go
I
ahead.
do have some concern, just 'cause I think we had some conversation about this in the past, as far as safety issues with that roadway and having a walking path and a lot of truck traffic with Mariani
Right.
being there. I know we talked about it, I don't know that it made it very far, or we made any decisions on that, and I know I wasn't here for the meeting that we initially had done the 90-10 grant, but
Yeah.
that's my concern.
Yeah, the concern that you have is valid. I think everybody has that same concern. Trucks and people walking alongside the road is not compatible. So the attempt would be to try to build it off-road, off on the roads.
Just
but
like
you would-
we have.
Like, similar to something like this here.
Like
But-
in the woods kind of thing?
Right.
Well, it wouldn't be, it'd be just into the property lines. This may not be enough room to do it within the right-of-way, so we'd have to look as if we could buy some right-of-way, narrow strip to be able to do it so that we could do it. So we're gonna try to get it into that. If we got a chance for 90% funding, we should try our darndest to get it in.
And this isn't right on the road, just so we mean, it's similar to the one that's going down here. So there's a pretty neat.
That I'd be okay with. I just don't want it
I
on the
agree.
road.
I didn't want it
No, we all-
with the
we-
4-foot shoulders or anything like 48th Street would be. That's,
And I think looking at downstream on this, if we're gonna do it, we need to be thinking about what we're gonna connect to it. I mean, it really isn't
Yep.
gonna connect to anything right away, and I think we should have somewhat of a plan or an idea as to if we're gonna do a walk path, where are our plans in the future to go with it.
Yeah, the attempt is on the next piece, which is 48th Street to, all the way to the west to where the city is to tie it in there also. And that would be the next piece to it and have it all put together. Any other discussion on it? Go ahead, William.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm voting against this motion. I really think it's a waste of money. I think any engineering that has to be paid for, or that, I know you're gonna say, well, that's 90% of it. We have enough trouble on Washington Street just getting the snow off the road and not blocking the ditches and not filling up the culverts. All the trouble we had this last week, and I think we're just doing it so it looks good that we're, for economic development and public use, we're gonna do that. So I am voting against the motion.
Any other comments? Hearing no more, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed?
Opposed.
One opposed. Thank you. Item 11, October disbursement vouchers, any questions?
I did have,
You got an arrow there on something.
yeah, I surely do. On page 1, paid invoices. Adams County Highway, the pavement markers.
Got street marking,
Oh,
that would be South Park Road, and another ones were restriped.
okay. Then, oh, my question was on the Bomar, but I guess that was on page 2. But as far as $13,125 we paid for them, is that just a quarter or?
That's, go ahead.
They've been sending us, like, it's maybe bi-monthly, I'm not sure exactly what their schedule, but I think we're probably paid three or four so far this year.
Okay, is this based on the reevaluation?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. And then, let's see. On page 4, the Grace equipment maintenance, I was just wondering what equipment was,
Graves for $1,530, was that you, Bob?
yes,
Graves?
$1,530.
Graves, no?
Grace Inc., equipment
Okay,
maintenance.
that must be Rick then. Any
Oh.
idea what that?
No, can't help you today,
I
but,
can check into an email
Find
tomorrow.
out.
That was my only questions I had.
William?
Just one comment on her. Her first one was the Adams County with their striping of the roads and stuff like that. They're probably one of the best around, and, we've used them for a long time, and they're the only ones, and they're very good at their job.
Well, Portage County has done some for us, but I think Rick has kind of said Adams County seems to be better. Get the line straighter.
Okay. That's good to know.
Anything else? The vouchers? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item, item 12 is operator licenses. We have an application for Casey Benz at Hoozles, Tiffany Nunway for Jammers, Robert Oswald for Savory Steak, Marjorie Tell for Savory Steak House, And Catherine Wirtz for Kellner International, 1-year applications. What's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve this.
Motion by Bill,
Second by Patty.
second by Patty. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Am I any opposed? Monthly reports. Rick didn't bring us anything, did he?
May I respond to that? It was in the minutes that he was going to give us a report on the water damage. At the last meeting, I asked for it.
Which water damage? Just refresh me.
His report indicated that he met with people and put in culverts and things like that. And I said, because we really never had a report from 64th Street and all what we did. And when we searched the records, we couldn't find what they did before. And I just thought for historical purposes, when we have water damage, we'll know what we did back in 2019.
Okay, I'll remind
And
them.
okay.
I do know we been out with the equipment, unfortunately, plowing. Any other questions I could try to field on Public Works? Yeah, moving to the Airport Commission. The airport hangar project is now on hold until February 6th. That's when the actual structure for the hangar building will be there. They'll continue its construction then until it's finished in the first part of June, the way it sounds. Airport fuel sales have continued to decrease on a yearly basis. We're at 105% right now of last year's. Last week of October, Wisconsin Rapid hosted the Airport Operations Seminar. It's a statewide event that brought in managers from various airports, approximately 100 in total of managers, suppliers, State Bureau of Aeronautical officials, and federal FAA staff also attended and provided updates on current processes and what's new and what's happening in the world of airplanes, I guess. Is there any questions?
Yes. I'd like to speak about the intergovernmental agreement. I was at the meeting, and I did get a copy of that. And I will say what I said at public comment there, is the fact that I think this intergovernmental agreement should be something that our attorney should look at, this town board should look at, because I feel that the mayor, being the mayor of the city of Wisconsin Rapids and the chairman of that committee, he keeps adding things and subtracting things at the meeting. I don't think that's his duty to do that. I think it should be between your attorney at the airport and the attorney for the city of Wisconsin Rapids. And I think it should only be with hiring the manager, the airport manager. I was involved in the first intergovernmental agreement, and I cannot believe how that's been changed. And I would like to see this whole board get a copy of that intergovernmental agreement, and we discussed that at our meeting about what's going on with the airport. And the annexation, it was also mentioned and it was on your agenda. And the annexation of Town of Grand Rapids property was not approved by the city council. And it indicated that they had false information. I'd like to know what that false information was given to those people. I called the 3 people that did. They didn't think they had false information.
I didn't make that statement if you're referring to me.
I didn't say you did. I said I was.
All right, 'cause it looks like you're implying that I'm the guilty party here, and I'm
I didn't
not.
take it that way.
Okay. Anything else?
Then the meeting times have also been changed?
Yeah, there's some, we sometimes will move the meetings back and forth, days to evening, depending on availability of the commissioners to meet. This particular one, and I think the next one is scheduled to be at the 8 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday.
Oh, so it's not a permanent?
Well, it's set to be when we can arrange it, and as it's currently being done, and that may be subject to change, the commissioner from Port Edwards at this stage, needs it to be in the morning, in other words, for her to complete her duties. So it's, a lot of meetings are at evening, some at the noon time and whatever, so we're trying to get them in when we can get them in. Any other questions? Sac Lane solid waste, you want to tell us, Bill, what's?
Yeah, I sent you the minutes, and also I will give a report of the choose to reuse, and you should have a copy of that if you got it out of your box. But anyways, we collected 34 tires, and of course that was, that was $100, and those tires went to Paul's repair in Kellner. He's the one that gets the tires. We had 325 cars come through the drop-off area, and cars were lined up all over. We had 44 gallons of oil that we put in the town oil tank. We had 21 volunteers, and I have their affidavits that they have to sign, and I will turn that in tomorrow. I'll get that to you. 2 Grand Rapids Auxiliary Police were there, and they did a heck of a job. We had a lot of traffic problems there. I would call cars parked on both sides of the road and trying to get people through. To let you even know, we had a U-Haul truck come through, but he went all the way through the thing and then out the road. I guess he got caught in the traffic coming in. And also, we had 2 dumpsters full of metal, and it was 9,200 pounds, and that went to Fox Valley Iron. We had 1 dumpster of waste. They're non-recyclables. It was 500 pounds exactly, 2.5 ton. And the cost...
5,000 pounds.
5,000 pounds, yep.
5,000 pounds. And the cost of that was $290.10, and TJ's Auto has paid for that. They donated that service. Electronics, I don't have a amount on the electronics because that was not done by Choose to Reuse. It was done by Express Recycling. But anyways, there was 36 TVs, 3 large consoles, and 9 miscellaneous items. And then at the bottom of this, I'll compare it with last May's. On May 18th, we had iron pounds of 8,600, and in September we had 9,200. And it goes on here. We had tire income last time was $200. This time it was $100. And dumpster stuff was 440 pounds. 4,440, and 5,000 pounds this time. And the cost last time was $260,281, and this time $290. And that's our report. And of course, the minutes are on the other side. And I have those sent to you.
So what's your feeling about this now? I mean, the traffic probably is one of your biggest concerns there. Have you outgrown the facilities? Is it too much for what you have?
I don't think so. I think it was our shorter hours that did that. And people came. May won't be so bad because we have it the 3rd Saturday in May. And if we're going to have it again next year, of course, we need permission from the town. We usually have it the same as the Port Edwards rummage sales, and that kind of cuts down on a lot of our traffic, either people just browsing or bringing stuff. So I don't think so. We've had more cars, but I think the slowdown was the fault of that. Yeah.
Well, you know, sometimes it looks like an accident waiting to happen. I mean, I parked a couple blocks away and walked in and looked at the crowd, took a few pictures, and wow, I don't know how anybody was getting through there. There was people trying to trying to get out, and then they didn't get in the right lane, so they had to back up, so they're trying to guide them out here. It looked pretty scary to me, if you want to know the truth. Dan?
Couple things. Does the town of Grant has a Choose to Reuse or something similar to that, don't they?
Yes.
When is that? Do we
Same time.
Same weekend?
Same weekend.
So that would be good. And the other thing I'd ask is maybe we get with the police department, get with Mel and talk about a traffic situation. Maybe there's a better way of routing it, or we can work on some avenues to do that. I don't know. I mean, but maybe you could reach out to them and work with them on bouncing ideas off each other.
How did it go with the signage this year with our?
Oh, yeah.
Signage worked really well.
Great.
So we didn't have any issues or any problems with that. We also had a little handout. We had numbers on these little handouts to every car that came in that had the same verbiage that were on the signs.
Oh,
So
good.
we
So
also
they saw
used
it
it,
over.
that's how we knew how many cars were actually coming through, because we had them numbered. So that worked really well.
What'd you do, give them to them as they're coming up the
Mhm.
driveway?
Yep,
Yes,
Oh,
the driver got one,
yep, the driver got one.
and it was explained what was on this little card.
Yep, it was explained and handed to him, yep.
Well, we just have to look into it and see what we can come up with.
All right, there's plenty of time to think about it, I guess, so
Yes.
we'll go on to Plan Commission. Patty, you got any updates from there? I know you met last evening, didn't you?
Yes, we met last evening. We reviewed the annual chicken permits. I think we're up to, we would have been up to 7, but one household ended up moving to the city, so we're back to 6 chicken permits. We have the dog exemption permits, and sorry, I can't recall how many we have, but that went through. There was only one household that had one complaint on there, so the Plan Commission is doing a nice job asking the questions and making sure that the people know that they need to control their additional dogs there. We had one more chicken permit approved. Then we also had a business who built a open pavilion, and so we approved that they could have their 5 overhead garage doors on one side of the building so that it would, cut off the wind or whatever from that outdoor pavilion. And then the comprehensive plan was discussed. Jason Gruenberg from Wood County had given the update and the timeline as far as the rollout of the survey. And he also was talking about one of the gentlemen from Wood County who's working on the comprehensive plan, if he would be able to attend our next meeting and talk with the commission a little bit more about the survey. We're hoping to wrap up the survey the next meeting to have it to the town board to review come January.
Well, thank you. I think there's a couple of things that Economic Development was looking to ask you to consider putting into those, wasn't there, saying, Andy?
Yeah, we talked about that
Cool.
at our
Okay.
last meeting.
We'll get through together and,
Yeah, now that the budget process is over, I think that's
okay.
easier just to meet.
All right, sounds good. Any questions? Planning Commission, Dan, or Public Buildings, Dan?
no, we didn't meet.
Legislative, we did not meet. No, Public Safety did not, but will
We
meet.
haven't met, but we did, just so you guys are aware, I scheduled a meeting, we just, from one of them, we're gonna have to probably move out to January, but we scheduled a meeting with the town of Grant coming up next month to just discuss further contracts that we talked about at the last meeting, and then the other meeting likely will have to be out into January, but we'll be moving forward on that.
Economic Development?
Yeah, I
Andrew?
think Bill had a question.
Oh, I didn't hear his hands.
So had you,
Here's the hand.
and you plan on talking to the town of Saratoga?
Yeah,
Yeah. It was discussed at their last meeting, you might want to look at their minutes.
okay, and I haven't done that
Yeah.
yet, so, I did.
I was at that meeting, they have somebody else that is thinking of,
Oh. Okay. Well, thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate it. I did talk to Terry and he didn't say anything about that at all, so
Well, maybe it'd be important that we do go.
maybe it would be. So,
Yeah, I'll have to change my meeting.
okay.
Okay. Personnel Committee, anything, Dan?
No,
and the economic development, just a question I have, have you appointed somebody? or-
No,
Oh.
waiting for the budget to get approved on that. Once that goes through, if it goes through, then we'll have that ability to do that, and I think then we'll get rolling on.
Yeah, you need to provide me with, after your committee meets on it, you can provide me, and then we'll
Yeah,
put it on the next agenda that we can.
So you kind of advertise in this meeting, you're looking for somebody?
Well, we are looking for, I've been talking about that, and, you know, and I really don't want it to be just me picking people to try to be on this committee. I'd like other board members to do that, or anybody that wants to be a part of it, to show interest. I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm having a hard time finding people that are real interested in it. It's not as easy as, I have people that are somewhat interested, but then they don't
have
follow up, so working on that. But I really wanna make sure that before I go advertising too heavily and, you know, really nailing people down, that we can actually support it in the budget for the per diems and to finance it through the meetings. And before I jump through that hoop, I wanna make sure I can talk accurately, and I really can't do that until our budget's approved.
Okay, any other questions? And we decided personnel had nothing, is that correct?
Nope.
WTA meeting, we got the minutes in front of you or in your tray. Basically, the next one will be on December 6th, which is a Friday, and it's in Milledore?
Town of Milledore.
Town of Milledore. But you'll get that notice in the mail.
One other thing, this is your joke that we have, but anyways. We had Adam Decline was there, and he lives in the town of Grand Rapids. He works in the zoning office. He did a good job of presenting on countywide zoning and things like that. He did a good job. That's the third person that we've had in that position that come from the town of Grand Rapids, so.
Yep. And we understand that. All right, moving to reports from individual board members. William?
Yes, I would like to address the assessor thing. I think, and I hear this all over, I wonder if the assessor's been to my place and, well, he was to my next door neighbor. I think they should leave something to say they were there, because my understanding is they're not coming back.
Correct. If nobody's home.
If nobody's home, they're not coming back. So a lot of people don't even know they're there. I think that's bad. I think that is bad. And there wouldn't be so many questions. I wonder if he was in our neighborhood or that. And I think we should know that, because people are really concerned about that. They would like to be home, you know,
Right,
when the assessor comes along.
They're not going in the house, we know that, Bill. Right?
Right, they're not going in.
But would they, oops. I'll wait my turn.
Everybody does a windshield observation. The state does that when they set their equalized value. I can't believe the assessors are not doing that. The last time we had a reval, they came to our house, went in the house. I don't know what we're paying them for if they don't go in the house. Okay, that's my comment. And this street lighting, I said that in the past. The street lighting, it should be a petition. That's what we did when we petitioned for our 45th Street light. It got turned down. I have not seen a petition since, and we put up 3 lights since. Because somebody wrote a letter to the town chairman asking for a light, and by golly, they got the light. And yes, I voted for it. And I think it should be a petition.
Dan?
I guess in one point, I do agree with Bill, don't fall over. Yeah. As far as, I wish they'd leave a door hanger or something.
I can email them and just ask, yeah.
Just so, no, don't get carried away. Just that, so people know that they're coming through or whatever. I mean, it would be nice. I did get a couple questions also on, you know, do you know what area they are when they're working or whatever, and it's like, no. And so, it just would be a friendly thing, but other than
I'll
that.
check with them and see.
They started with the lowest number, 0700012, and started, and they're going up there. That's the way they're going through the board, so
Yeah.
I don't know when it's halfway, but I thought when he was here the last time that he grabbed the last rack of them. And that was 3 weeks ago, maybe?
That John was.
So,
Yeah.
and maybe it's something we can
Maybe they're
look at for next year when they do the other half.
Anything else? Patty?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, I had a couple things on here. So, I agree with Bill to have, that we should really look at this ordinance for the, you know, with the streetlights. I voted yes for this 40th streetlight. I guess I didn't think about asking, do you live in the neighborhood, which is pretty important. So I would like that also to be put on the next agenda, that we address that streetlight. I believe that we should also have a report from the assessor for our next agenda, if we can just read out to say where he's at, what neighborhoods, he can, how many people are home, you know, give us a rundown of what the assessor is doing so that we can keep tabs on that, because it is quite expensive part of our budget this year and next year. And we can make sure that he's doing it to what we're expecting to be done. And then I would also like, I thought about that this morning, you know, the annual reports that we do in springtime, and which should be plenty enough time for the fire department and the police department. I would like to see an annual report from your departments at that meeting. If you think about it, the public safety is probably the largest part of our budget, and we don't get any rundown of, you know, total amounts of what's happening throughout the year.
You talking at the annual meeting?
Yeah, at
They
the
both
annual
do.
meeting.
Yeah, they both do.
Well,
Get a packet that
I put
thick.
together an annual report every year.
okay, is it,
Yeah. Mine was
Okay.
like 4
Yeah,
pages
they both
long.
always have one.
okay, all right. For some reason, I wasn't
Registering.
registering.
So good, you're gonna get your report
So I'll
then.
give my report, and,
Sure, Patty, we'll do that for you, no
Okay.
problem.
okay, thanks. Okay, and I think that's it for my notes for today.
I guess the only thing I have to speak, I agree with Bill and Patty on this with the neighborhood. I was under the impression when that came before us, and I am myself, and my opinion and my feeling is when we're gonna put a street light up, I think it needs to be for safety reasons, and I believe that it should be because the people that in the neighborhood want it there for that safety reason, not for one sole individual. I was under the impression that that was something that was wanted, and clearly that was not, and I fielded several phone calls on this, and I also hope we see this on the agenda and can address this moving forward with maybe some policy changes on our end to make sure that we are doing as best we can to notify the neighbors of when changes like this are going to occur. And if somebody does come to the board, maybe making them do the petition to go around and do the work and the legwork to get that clarified with all the neighbors, so we don't run into this issue again. And I think that's important for us moving forward. I would be frustrated if I was in a position where, you know, if this happened right next door and I didn't even know that it was occurring. And you know, I realize we post meeting minutes and things, but we have to look at the reality of it, and I don't think a lot of our residents look at those meeting minutes that are coming up monthly, unfortunately. But
Okay. Amy, is there anything else you had tonight?
No.
Lisa? And the only thing I have is to tell you that so far on my grant request for the year, the first one I wrote, we were unsuccessful. That was a $20,000 grant through Wood County. We did our road that we chose was not as damaged as some of the other communities, and some of the ones that we were on and actually sat on the committee that inspected them were pretty bad shape compared to us. So 2 years ago we did receive that 20,000, so we didn't this year. But we have one that's been that's in and it's applied for. We won't know till after January sometime, and then Amy and myself will be writing this next one shortly. We have pretty much the data all together. We had a meeting with Mariani's and working with them to get some additional documentation from them. So we should be good. So we'll move to item 15, the public comment period. If there's anybody else in the audience wish to speak, you're limited to 2 minutes each. Anybody wish to speak one more time?
Speak again?
Go ahead.
All right. Again, on the streetlight situation, I took it on myself to drive around to a lot of different subdivisions over the last week, around Timber Valley, Black Forest, 44th and Springwood, 36th Street subdivision, the rest of 40th Street, which police chief lives down Cape Vista, and Bobby lives 36th subdivision, and 0 streetlights, even down on Cape Vista. Nobody has streetlights. Every one of those subdivisions has kids that walk to the school bus. This situation for this one individual could have been solved with a $40 motion light from Home Depot. Right on the corner of her building, when she turns her lights on her garage, it lights the whole corner up. And now we have, the rest of us have to look at this. And for 40 bucks and some wire, it could have been taken care of. And I understand the safety issue, but does that street light right there, Cape Vista, just as dark? They go around the corner onto what's it called, Brookwood. 36 is just as dark. West Lawn, the one off of 32nd, just before Deer Road, to the left there. I can't say the name of it.
Barberry?
What's that?
Barberry?
No,
Oh. I'm
32nd and Deer on the corner there. My point is, what made this corner special? I've been there 9 years. I've watched a dozen kids over the years walk up to that same corner, get on the school bus. He's been there 20 years. A lot of the people on that list are people that have had children that have walked that without incident. It's a closed, it's a dead-end road. No matter where you go, there's no way out except back out 40th. It's not like we have high-speed traffic going 2 directions. No different than any other place.
Okay.
Yet we ended up with a street light shining in our bedroom windows.
Anybody else wish to speak?
Yeah, so you said that the assessor, even if you're home and he knocks on the door, they're not going in the house.
No, they're.
So they're just
the
doing a
new-
walk around?
The new state regulations say that even if they want to, they can't go into the house, I believe. Isn't it correct, Bill?
Right.
So they are not looking at the interiors of houses, and that's unfortunate because I think that's where a lot of remodels have been done internally that are much improvements to houses, and they're not gonna get identified.
With the consent of the owner, they still don't go in?
Oh, yeah, May
I don't know the
An
answer.
open book, if you don't like what your assessment is, you can come here, because they always have open book for a 2-day period, and they go over and they will come out to your house. And if you think you've got a functional obsolescence, that's something that shouldn't be there, or narrow staircase or something like that, they will. But now you can't go in the house. You used to be able to send them a notice of the increase in assessment, and you wanted to view their property. And they could say no, and if they did, you could put a Dumage assessment on it. Now, if they say no, you can't go on their property, and they can't put a Dumage assessment.
So they're basically looking at the exterior view of it. So that's why the fee is only, it's not 75,000, it's 150,000 less their normal 26, so it's basically 120,000, 60,000 a year we're doing for that. Otherwise, those assessments would have been 180,000 or better if they were looking at internally on every house. So unfortunately, that's what it is. Anybody else wish to speak? Hearing none, next agenda item, we talked about it. Item 17, motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Patty? Second by Andrew. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.